all of that forever. We'll show you everything you need to know to be able to sit down and create compelling marketing and advertising copy, better than most of the copywriters available today. So let's begin this presentation with a question. Have you ever heard of persuasion strategies? They're used by the world's top copywriters when they write persuasive copy, such as emails, direct mail, brochures, flyers, and reports. Persuasion strategies are used to convince prospects to overcome their fears and complete the sales process. Your target customer might do what you want them to do, but not without some waffling. They often hesitate before clicking the buy button, paralyzed by fear. They need additional persuasion before they will make that final commitment. Persuasion strategies help them make that buying decision. And by the way, information is not persuasive. Persuasion isn't about obtaining information or getting all the facts. Frequently, we already know the facts. Persuasion is about recognizing that your prospect's fears are valid and then finding ways to overcome those fears. It's like saying, listen, I know you're in trouble and so scared you don't know what to do. But if you listen to me, I can help. So persuasion is all about getting rid of the fear. When you create your marketing program, begin by asking yourself why your prospects are afraid. Figuring out what scares them is your first job as a copywriter. Your prospects do have specific fears, problems, frustrations, and concerns. These must be addressed in your message to them if you ever hope to persuade them to complete the sale. Often, they're afraid your product or service won't solve their problem. They're frequently afraid they're going to throw their money away and look foolish doing it. Maybe they're afraid they won't ever use your solution. Whatever their fears are, speak to those fears. Prospects are looking for some very specific instructions. They want to hear something like, I'm going to take you by the hand and show you everything you need to know. Together, we're going to take this step by step and make sure you can do this on your own. This prospect can tell they're dealing with a professional, that they've done this before, and that if you just stick with them and follow their clear instructions, you're going to be all right. Does this sound familiar? It should. This is the core message of almost every piece of persuasive copy you've ever read. This is what your prospects are looking for as well. It's your job to help your prospects move beyond their purchase paralysis. In your compelling copy, you must figuratively say to them, listen, I know you're afraid of buying this product or service because of these specific reasons, but it's going to be okay. I've been where you are now, and I know the way around these problems. So take my hand, click on the button that says Add to Cart, and in just a moment, you'll have the solution that makes this all go away. Click the button and let's get you out of this mess. Getting them out of the mess they find themselves in is the simple underlying message you're trying to convey. Here are some basic fundamentals to keep in mind. Acknowledge and empathize with the prospect's fear. Demonstrate that you're trustworthy. Social proof helps. So does pre-selling with exceptional content. Convey your authority. Let the prospect know you can handle this kind of mess with ease. Let the prospect see what the way out looks like. Show them the benefits of your solution and always give clear and specific instructions on what to do next. Persuasion basically says, stick with me and we'll get you to the right solution, safe and sound. Most people are just waiting to be persuaded that they have nothing to fear. Good copywriting is about helping them rid themselves of that fear and convincing them to take action. Unfortunately, many people confuse persuasion with manipulation and miss the value of applying persuasion techniques in their marketing. Persuasion marketing doesn't employ trickery or deceit to override your prospect's will or reason. Instead, it requires you to listen and uncover your buyer's needs, wants, and preferences, and then supply them with the information that will help them to reach a logical conclusion. Persuasion, combined with a genuine desire to help your prospect solve a problem, creates a harmony that cannot be created through manipulation. If you employ manipulation as a sales technique, you're much more likely to have the customers that experience buyer's remorse or that choose to never buy from you again. Here are some tips for persuading customers. Customers want solutions. Customers are seeking answers to a pain, desire, or problem. When you present them with an opportunity that fulfills their wants and needs, you create lifelong customers. Don't leave them to their instincts. Most people will make decisions based on what they think is true, or they will rely on their instincts. They may know the outcome they desire, but aren't sure about the way to go about achieving that outcome. Don't make the mistake of failing to go beyond the customer's initial statements to uncover the true wants and needs. Dig deeper so that you can provide them with enough information to lead them to the most logical conclusion. Tell them a story. Numerous studies have validated storytelling as one of the most effective adult learning tools. Storytelling is also one of the keys to persuasion. People tend to have a natural resistance to being sold, but stories break down the barriers and transition people to being more open, more curious, and increase their desire to learn more. Stories also help us to make a human connection and, as such, engage the mind and emotions of your customers. Let them tell you a story. In the sales process, we ask questions to uncover the customer's pain points. Encourage your customers to tell you their story rather than just answering questions. When customers tell you a story, they become emotionally engaged. They remember more, and they will supply you with much more information than if you simply ask a question. As you listen to their story, you will be able to identify the key persuasion points that will be most effective when it's time to ask them to take action. Make the experience vivid. Paint a vivid picture for your customers so that they see themselves using your product or service and enjoying the benefits it provides to them. If you're selling a physical product, have them pick it up and do something with it. If you're selling a service, help them to see themselves in a long-term business relationship with you. What does their life look like after your service solves their problem? As you persuade, project customers into the process, and they will conclude that your product or service is the answer to their problem. Mastering the art of persuasion can propel your business forward as you learn how to move your customers through the sales process by selling to their true wants and needs. Properly used, persuasion will make your customers feel that you understand them better than anyone else and that you will serve them better than anyone else. You're the best at what you do, and mastering the art of persuasion provides you with the tools to help your customers reach the same conclusion. One of the most basic concepts of persuasion is want versus need. They may sound similar, but they are as different as night and day. As a small business owner, it's important to distinguish between the two in order to attract more clients and grow your business. By learning the specific wants and needs of your clients, you can learn how to better market your product or service in a way that speaks to your target customer and convinces them to buy from you. A want is something you would like to have. It's not absolutely necessary, but it would be a good thing to have. A good example is music. You don't need music to survive. A need is something you have to have, something you can't do without. Take food as an example. If you don't eat, you won't survive for long. You might not need a whole lot of food, but you do need to eat. It may sound completely counterintuitive, but the fact is, wants are much more powerful than needs. Even though their needs must be fulfilled for survival, most people make their purchasing decisions based on their wants rather than their needs. For example, people need to lose weight for health reasons, or a weight loss clinic might assume that clients would respond to a weight loss program that's positioned to help them feel better and improve their health. But oddly enough, what most people want from a weight loss program is not health, but to look better, attract more romance into their lives, to receive compliments from people, and gain confidence. Notice that all of these are emotional wants versus objective needs. When marketing your product or service, stay away from focusing on promoting the need for it. Until you identify why clients want your product, you will never be successful selling to them. Here are some tips to help you identify your clients' wants and develop effective marketing messages that will help you generate more revenue. Depending on your industry, clients will have different wants and needs. We call them hot buttons. Hot buttons are the problems, frustrations, fears, and concerns that most clients consider when they do business with companies. Many business owners feel that price is always the number one hot button that impacts their customers. In reality, price is one of their last considerations. Most clients are more than willing to pay a higher price if you offer enough value to warrant the higher price. Unfortunately, most marketing and advertising looks exactly the same and ignores the hot buttons. Everyone uses the same old phrases and platitudes, such as, we're the fastest, we're the best, we have the lowest price, we do excellent work, and so on. And since everyone says this, your customers become desensitized and don't believe any of it. If you market this way, as most businesses do, your clients can't determine the true value you provide. so they default to the lowest price as a differentiator. Whatever you do, don't fall for this trap. Fortunately, the idea that price is most important exists only in the mind of the business owner. All you need to do is provide more value than your competition and promote it. Your marketing messages should highlight the parts of your business that meet the wants of your target customer by addressing their hot buttons. Several large surveys show that most people believe a logical discussion with good data and the right logical supporting facts is the best way to persuade. Often, they break the persuasion process down to three main steps. First, present your proposition clearly and with conviction. Second, present your supporting data with the right facts, logic, and information. And third, structure your deals and move to the close. But according to research conducted at the University of Southern California Business School, following this process is one surefire way to fail at persuasion. Why? Neuroscientists have recently discovered that the brainwaves we emit when we engage in logical thinking, such as when we solve a math problem, are virtually identical to those we emit when we're forced to plunge our hands and arms into icy water. It's painful. Furthermore, these researchers have determined that our brains require 300% more effort, measured in calories burned, for heavy thinking compared with mental cruising. No wonder people hate logical, reasoned approaches. Luckily for us, our brains are hardwired with mechanisms that help us make good decisions without painstaking analysis and reasoning. These mechanisms are known as triggers, but you can also think of them as instincts or gut reactions. Essentially, they're the decision-making shortcuts we easily and naturally employ all day long. They are our automatic self-guidance systems. We often don't even realize we're using them. Put simply, triggers are our navigational aids. They help us make easy, non-analytical yet correct decisions. There are several major triggers we all depend on to help us easily make quick, automatic, and correct decisions. One example is the consistency trigger. Here's how it works. All of us have a kind of database in our brains that records past thoughts and actions. This database provides a roadmap for future decisions. When faced with a decision, our brain does an instantaneous search, and we're oriented to act in a way that is consistent with our past actions. In short, we do what we've done before. A citizen who's voted for the conservative slate in the past will usually do so again without bothering to seriously analyze the rhetoric of all the candidates running. Spenders make decisions to keep spending. Savers tend to decide again and again to save. Cautious people take careful actions. Risk-tolerant people do not. That's not to say that logic has no place in decision-making, but logic tends to come later after the decision-maker has responded to his or her internal triggers. For example, when people are in the market for a house, they're often attracted to one that feels right. Maybe it reminds them of a place where they used to live. Later, when they're discussing the house with others, they're talk about more logical aspects, the great neighborhood, easy access to the highway, a good school system, and so on. Now, what does this mean for you as the persuader? Knowledgeable persuaders don't force persuasion partners into icy water. Skilled people don't demand 300% more energy for decisions. They help their partners make good decisions by learning what they want, doing the heavy thinking for them, then determining how to best position the discussion. Skilled persuaders evaluate which triggers apply to another person. Then they carefully frame and deliver a presentation based on those triggers. They use facts and figures only when needed to support a triggers-based decision. As an example, we have a client who boasted that his company was successful because he was able to make and implement decisions quickly. An astute sales rep wrapped up her presentation to this CEO by saying, "Charlie, you mentioned that you like to make quick decisions. Will that be the case here?" Essentially, the rep set up a prime situation for the consistency trigger to operate. The CEO had to be consistent with his prior statement, and the consistency trigger resulted in a handshake and a $50,000 profit. The formula is fundamental. Employ triggers. They act as the client's navigation system for making correct decisions. Use facts, figures, and logic only when needed to reinforce a trigger-based decision. It may be the opposite of what you're used to. but it's a surefire to win at persuasion. Now that we have laid a basic foundation for persuasive marketing, let's provide you with a foolproof 8-step format that will give you the ability to write copy more persuasively than 95% of all the copywriters working today. Follow this format and you will easily create a world-class competition-crushing marketing message with a compelling offer. Step 1. Always open with an attention-grabbing, interrupting headline or opening paragraph focused on a problem, fear, frustration, or concern. If you fail to grab your prospect's attention at the opening of your message, you will never read, see, or listen to the rest of it. Be sure your opening statement hits your prospects directly on their hot button issues. And keep in mind that prospects will do much more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Step 2, engage them by promising a solution to them you stated in your opener. Think of steps 1 and 2 like this. Step 1 focuses on the problem that has intruded into your prospects' lives, and step 2 promises them that there is a solution to that problem. You don't give them the solution in step 2, you only promise them there is a solution. That's what gets them engaged and all but forced them to keep reading or listening to your message. They want to find out what that solution is. Step 3 is to give them a reason to purchase. There's one main point to always keep in mind when selling anything. All human beings are looking for the best deal. And it doesn't matter if you're buying a stick of gum or a new car. Everyone wants to feel as though they're getting the best deal. Now, that doesn't mean the lowest price. It simply means they feel they're getting the most value for the price they do pay. That's why prospects will pay twice the price as a competitor charges if they feel they're receiving 4 times more value. So, in step 3, inform them specifically of the additional value you provide. If you discover you don't offer additional value, then it's time you innovate your business and add that value. And it doesn't have to be expensive either. If you own a hair salon for men, you might inform your male customers that beginning immediately, they can stop by the salon any weekday between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. for a free neck trim and cleanup. Guys can begin to look a little shaggy around the neck after just 2 weeks from having their hair cut, although they're not ready for another trim yet. They could definitely use some immediate touch-up around the neck and ears to keep them looking their best until their next scheduled appointment. By performing this free service only during the week between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m., you limit this free service to your slowest periods when most of your staff aren't working anyway. This provides your current clients with added value that separates your salon from all others, and it doesn't cost you a dime to implement this additional service. In fact, you should use this free service to play upon their natural reciprocity factor most human beings feel after receiving a free service. For example, once the stylist completes the trim, they might ask the customer if they know any other guys that could use their services, and then provide them with a special VIP voucher, good for several free services during the first visit. Or the stylist might implement a cross-sell strategy where they ask the customer about purchasing additional products or services that fits their lifestyle and helps to further enhance their appearance. That free service could wind up increasing the salon's overall revenue by 15 to 30%. Step 4 in the process of creating a compelling message is to tell them what you will do to help them gain the benefits they will experience when using your product or service. Will you help them implement a process, guide them in performing a service, provide training on a new procedure, install a product, guarantee your services, and so on? Again, the more additional value you can provide that your competition can't match, the better. Step 5 says to be very specific about the actions they will take. If you fail to specifically direct your prospect in taking the next step, they won't act. And when you do direct them to act, make sure that action is simple and easy to follow. We have all been subjected to confusing and irritating checkout procedures where we tried to order something and then discovered something was amiss in the process. Bottom line, make it super easy for your prospects to become your customers. Step 6 says to offer them a compelling bonus or some form of additional incentive whenever practical. This again is referencing added value. Remember, we all like to feel as though we're getting a good deal. A bonus that complements the sale makes the purchase that much easier to make. It helps to overcome the fear of purchasing and can increase your conversion rates dramatically. The key here is to make sure it offers value to the prospect and not just to you as the business owner. Step 7 is a must. Reverse their potential risk using powerful guarantees. We previously discussed the fact that people don't purchase due to fear. Those fears are often varied. Some prospects fear they will pay too much. Others fear they will be taken advantage of, while others are worried the purchase will make them look foolish to their family, friends, or associates. A well-thought-out guarantee can eliminate all of these fears and make your product or service the logical choice for your prospects to make when buying what you sell. And finally, step 8 says to end with a PS. Many business owners don't realize this, but the PS is the second most read area when sending direct mail. Only the headline is read more often. So be sure to include a PS and use it to restate the benefits or solution to the problem that the headline first referenced. Follow these 8 steps when delivering any form of message, and that message will compel your prospects to take immediate action. Now, let me give you an actual example that follows this specific format so you can see for yourself how powerful this can be when you use it for your own business. And let's take what may be the single most difficult thing in the world to market to anyone in this day and age. A health supplement. There must be around 1 million or so supplements on the market today. Every 2 seconds you hear and see an ad for them on radio or TV. They're all over the internet and in every form of print advertising. And yet, by following our compelling message template, watch how we can compel even the biggest skeptic into trying our supplement. We've worked 4 years with a multitude of chiropractors. Many of them want to sell vitamin supplements to their patients as a way to create a secondary source of income for their practice. So in this example, let's say you're a chiropractor offering premium vitamins to your database of prospects and current patients. Step 1 says to always begin with an attention-grabbing, interrupting headline. So your email or letter might say something like this. Dear Mary, as your doctor, your health and well-being are always my top concerns, and I'm constantly bombarded with drug companies asking me to recommend their vitamin supplements to my valued patients. I've never been the least bit tempted to recommend any type of supplement to any of you, until now. Notice how this headline grabs their attention by instantly arousing their curiosity. Right now, they're thinking to themselves, what could possibly have impressed this doctor so much that they're writing to me to make a personal recommendation? Step 2 says to engage them by promising them a solution and to focus on the benefits of these supplements and the outcome they should expect if they use them. So the email or letter would continue by saying, most of you know that I specialized in relieving chronic pain, and the latest scientific research has uncovered that a nutritional supplement called Relief X can almost instantly relieve chronic pain, where other treatments have been a colossal failure. After recommending them to several select patients of mine with chronic pain and seeing their almost miraculous improvement overnight, I felt I would be committing a felony if I didn't at least notify you of my discovery. In my humble opinion, these supplements represent a major scientific breakthrough in chronic pain relief. They contain a special wax coating that survives stomach acid and slowly dissolves in the intestines, where it can be immediately absorbed at full strength. Most supplements dissolve in the stomach, and less than 15% of the medication enters your bloodstream. Notice how they promise a solution to chronic pain and state the benefits that prompted them to make their recommendation. Now let's move to step 3 and give them the reason they should purchase these supplements. Because of high potency, these supplements are not available at any store. The manufacturer will only allow these to be offered through specially trained chiropractors. They're asking us to monitor our patients' results so they can use it next year in their nationwide marketing campaign. Since they're looking for dramatic results and testimonials, I was able to convince them that the more of my patients that participated in this clinical study, the more results and testimonials they would receive. They agreed and offered me a 35% discount for recommending these to my entire patient roster. I want to pass that savings on to all of you and make sure everyone can easily afford to try these remarkable supplements for yourself. Notice the added value the doctor included in their message. They negotiated a special discount on behalf of the patient and passed the savings on to them. Step 4 says to tell them the specific action you will take to help them gain the benefits. My past experience indicates that the vast majority of you with chronic pain will experience immediate relief. However, no supplement is 100% effective for everyone. That's why I also negotiated a 100% unconditional guarantee with the manufacturer. If any of you don't experience immediate relief from your chronic pain, you can notify me and I'll personally refund 100% of your money. Again, the doctor has added additional value to this transaction on behalf of the patient. Step 5 says to be specific about the actions they will take. Please call my receptionist, Mary, Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. and let her know how many you would like to order. She will call in your order direct to the manufacturer so we can ensure you receive the 35% discount. You should have your supplements within 3 days and no more chronic pain after that. It's critical to direct your prospects to take a specific action. If you don't, they often fail to take any action whatsoever. Step 6 is to offer them a compelling bonus. Once you rid yourself of your chronic pain for good, let's make sure it never returns again. I'm going to offer everyone who places an order a complimentary wellness assessment and diet plan with Judy, our on-staff nutritionist. This is normally a $450 service we provide, but for those of you who take advantage of this offer, I'll provide it to you free of charge. Consider it my gift to you to get you started on finally living a pain-free life. As this doctor continues to add more and more value, can you see how they become the only logical choice an interested prospect can make when all is said and done? And by the way, notice in this example that although the prospect views this bonus as tremendous value for them, the doctor will definitely profit from this bonus as well. Positioning each prospect in front of the nutritionist will create an entirely new market for those services. That wellness assessment will uncover a host of problems with each prospect, many of which they will now want this caring doctor and nutritionist to treat. Because the initial service was complimentary, reciprocity kicks in, and the prospect can often feel obligated to continue treatment with this doctor and their staff. Step 7 is a very important step, so be sure you pay additional attention to it. Reverse any perceived risk. So now the letter or email will say, as I mentioned earlier, although I have tremendous faith in the results all of you will experience with these supplements, nothing is 100% effective. For those few of you who don't feel immediate relief within 24 hours of taking your first supplement, notify Mary and we'll issue you an immediate refund and go ahead and keep the remaining supplements and see if they eventually provide you with the same dramatic results as my trial patients experienced. Please allow me to thank all of you for your past patronage to my practice. I hope my discovery turns out to be the key for most of you to return to a totally pain-free life and a revitalized lifestyle. All of you deserve it. To your health, Dr. Mark Smith. Step 8 reminds you to always end the letter like this with a formal PS that highlights the benefits you offer. PS. Don't forget these supplements are effective because of the revolutionary new coating that actually survives stomach acid and becomes fully digested in the intestines, so you receive 100% of the pain-relieving formula that's safe, effective, and just plain works. Pretty powerful and compelling, isn't it? For any interested prospect or patient, this letter makes it all but impossible to resist placing an order. This type of compelling message can easily increase response and conversion rates by 300 to 500%. The revenue results can often be staggering, and now you know exactly how to do this yourself. Use this letter as a template when you create your own compelling marketing message. This template will work with emails, letters, flyers, brochures, face-to-face meetings, radio and TV, and so on. For face-to-face encounters as well as radio and TV, you will naturally need to shorten this message dramatically, but you want to include as many of the steps as time and appropriateness allows. Think of the time this will now save you when you develop your own marketing messages. In the time it would have taken you to locate and communicate with a suspect copywriter that may or may not know how to write compelling marketing messages, you can now create your own and do a 1,000% better job in the process. Not to mention saving the thousands of dollars in copywriting fees they typically charge for substandard work. One final note, the more you practice, the more your copywriting skills will improve. Using this program as your guide will get you started in the right direction. Practice will take you to the next level and beyond. Our overall focus is to help you continue to build the business you've always dreamed of having, a business that provides you with financial freedom and an extraordinary life for you and your family. Remember that a primary goal in the e-learning marketing system is to help you quickly develop the processes that will bring more revenue into your business. Each presentation brings us closer to accomplishing that goal. So until next time, here's to your